Every human being, in fact, every living creature all over the world is seeking what? Happiness. But do you know where it is? Sorry? Within. Theoretically, when you're sitting here in an auditorium discussing the Gita, you say within very easily. But the moment you step out at 8 o'clock, happiness lies in dinner. And you can't wait till you get home, so there is food right round the corner. Every one of us theoretically knows that happiness is within, and yet all of us are seeking happiness where? Outside. Chasing it outside. Running after it outside. And we never ever find it. It never occurs to us that maybe we are looking for it in the wrong place. And so, a truly spiritual person is one who is established in the knowledge that happiness lies within. This is the basic difference between the divine and the demonic. As long as you are running after happiness outside, as long as you believe that happiness lies in that one more lack, in saving a little bit of money here and there, in a relationship outside, in something, someone outside of yourself, however much you may don the robes of a spiritual person or behavior of a spiritual person, you are still deep down demonic. Says Krishna, not me. So, the whole exercise is not to master the Gita here, is not to master the scriptures. The whole exercise here in these 5 days is to go back on Saturday evening with the conviction that happiness lies within. This is the challenge before us. Because, why is it a challenge? Because it appears to be just around the corner. It's so tempting to seek happiness outside. It's so alluring. And this is the whole story of the Ramayana. In the Ramayana, Rama represents Atman, the self. Rama literally means to delight. Rama was the source of happiness, is the source of happiness to all of us. And Sita represents the individual you and me. As long as her focus was inward, as long as her focus was on Atman, Rama within, she was perfectly blissful and happy, irrespective of her external circumstances. At one moment she was the queen to be, queen in waiting in the palace in Ayodhya. Next moment she was dispelled to life in the forest, but she was still happy. And the source of her happiness was that she was looking within. The moment she turned her attention outward and she believed that happiness lay in the golden fleeting deer. The golden fleeting deer represents the tantalizing, attractive objects of the world, attractions of the world. They're so tempting, they're golden, attractive, they're fleeting. They're there one moment, gone the next. And when she fixed her attention outside of herself, that's when her problems start. Eventually, she got abducted by Ravana. Ravana represents the 10-headed monster, represents the 10 sense organs. You become a victim of the 10 sense organs and sense objects. And you become miserable. This is our condition. You and I, every one of us in the world is totally imprisoned, held captive, fugitives of our sense organs. From there, how do you get back to Rama is again portrayed in the Ramayana. Sita, even when she was abducted by Ravana, and Ravana offered her the world, not just the world, the heavens, the best enjoyments, all power, etc. But Sita had learnt her lesson. She had learnt her bitter lesson. Unlike us, we still haven't learnt our lessons. She learnt her lesson and she stood resolutely outside the temptation. She refused to indulge in the offerings of the world and the devil, the Rakshasa. This devil is not outside, it's within us. And she consistently, persistently fixed her attention on Rama. She stayed. The moment even when you are held captive by the world and your sense objects and sense organs, the moment you turn your attention inward, you remain in a state of non-sorrow. Sita was in the Ashoka Vanam. Shoka means sorrow, Ashoka, non-sorrow. She had not yet reached the bliss of realization, but at least she was protected from the knocks and shocks of life, from the griefs and the sorrows that we experience in life. And then, as she continued, because it takes time, she got this tremendous boost in the form of Hanuman. Hanuman, the greatest devotee of the Lord Rama, appeared before her and showed her Rama's ring. And this was the ring of confidence that she obtained. Every spiritual aspirant meets with this reassurance sometime in his or her life. When you turn inward, it seems as if you're all alone. No one's with you. Everyone thinks you're foolish. But as you pursue on the path, you get this distinct ring of confidence. Things start going right for you. It's as if some divine force is telling you, don't worry, I'm with you, plod on, go along, you're on the right track. And if you're truly spiritual, you will have experienced this sometime in your life. And with this renewed boost, Sita continues till she gains reunion with Lord Rama, as we will all. So, the first step is to understand that happiness lies within. You continue with your life as normal, with the basic understanding that the world does not have what you are looking for. And then you need to get a few things in place. You see, the 16th chapter is a very practical chapter as against the 15th chapter which we did last year, those of you who were here. It's a it's almost like an Upanishad, very subtle, very high level philosophy. And Krishna was a master at feeling the pulse of the audience. Not Arjuna, all of us here. So after the 15th chapter, when you go back reeling with the highest truths, he comes down to our level and says, give you a little relief. It's like a master bowler who bowls so well that the batsman gets rattled. Next over, he bowls a few loose deliveries and he regains his balance. So this chapter 16 is the loose deliveries that he's giving us. He comes down to practical truths. So he gives us a few guidelines. Now what are these guidelines? Life is very misleading. What appears to give us happiness initially, instant happiness, gives us sorrow in the end. And so you need a little guidance. You need a few tips from the scriptures. And the Gita and Vedanta gives us these tips. First of all, what you need to understand is the more you have of anything, the more you indulge in a certain enjoyment, the happiness that you derive from it actually reduces. In other words, more does not give more happiness. It is less that gives more happiness. Let's take a look one by one. All of us believe that richness consists in merely accumulation of assets, income. So all of us are running after increasing our income somehow or the other, reducing our taxation. Today, budget day, all of us were focused on that, right? But the reality is, richness is not equated only to assets or income. A crucial component of your richness, of the fact that you're wealthy or otherwise, is your desires, your wants. Plato said the same thing. He said, richness depends not merely on your assets, but on your needs, on your wants, on your desires. And as long as you don't have a cap on your desires, however much your income may be, your desires will sooner or later outstrip your income, which is what is happening now. Every one of us, you don't have to tell us, I can tell from your faces. There is pressure building up within, tension building up within. That is why here in Mumbai, the famous Bombay Hindi, they say what? Tension mat lena. Why? Because everybody is tense. What is this tension? What is this stress that's building up? It is the fact that your desires are outstripping your income. And when your desires outstrip your income, financial institutions come, they see an opportunity and they come in for the kill and say, don't worry, buy now, pay later. So what do? You go berserk, you buy a house, you go on a vacation abroad, you buy a television set, you buy furniture, you buy a fancy car, you buy this, that and the other, none of which you can afford right now. And then you're stuck. You're stuck because every month you have to cough up money to pay for your mortgages and your debts and your credit card bills and all the rest of it. And thus it is, you're caught on a non-stop treadmill. They've got you by the jugular vein, having to run faster and faster for joys that mean less and less. So no longer do you find that happiness. Therefore, please remember that irrespective of what your income is, it is your desires that hold the key to your richness. If you're able to hold your desires in place, irrespective of how low your income is, you will always have a healthy surplus. Now, I'm not saying you should live on the below poverty line. That's not the thing. You decide what you need. Comfortable standard of living so that you don't feel any pressure. Be liberal with yourself. Add 15-20% more. And that you can easily do. Beyond that, refuse to fall for the temptations of the world. Don't be like Sita. Don't go falling for every golden fleeting deer, every object that is presented before you. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Second, material. People go all out to gain objects of the world. Actually, what really matters, you gain all these objects of the world to impress other people. What really impresses people is elegance, not flashiness. You need to cultivate taste. And good taste doesn't always come with money. As Shakespeare said, rich, not gaudy. Elegant, not flashy. When are we going to learn that? Minimalistic. Now even the interior designers have a new term, minimalistic. Isn't that true? Why do you want to go around flaunting things? First of all, it's unintelligent. Next, sense enjoyment. The more you have, you don't necessarily enjoy more. In fact, the less you enjoy. What enhances enjoyment is peace of mind. Your mind needs to be tranquil to be able to enjoy the food you eat, the music you listen to, whatever it is that you're doing. Peace of mind is an essential prerequisite, which unfortunately none of us have. So what do? You're eating the best of food, you're listening to the music from the best system, but nothing registers because your mind is in a turmoil. You're stressed out. The Gita gives 3 kinds of people: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. He says the tamasic person is one who wants to enjoy the fruit of other people's labor. Such a person, he says, stena eva saha, he's a thief. And all of us, sometime or the other, fall in this category because we're all looking for freebies. What comes free? Yesterday, someone called me and said, these lectures you're having at Bhaidas, are they free? I said, yes, they're free. They're free not because they are of zero value. They're free because they're so precious that we can't put a price on it. And he was stumped. He said, again he reiterated, you mean I don't need to pay to come? I said, no, you don't need to pay. You don't need to pay money to come. Again he got confused. I said, then finally I reassured him, no, don't worry, it's free. You come, you listen, you learn. But the thing is, to call and ask, are they free? Can you imagine the psychology of the person? That means anything that is free, you'll come and sit here. Nobody wants to pay. Music concert, when will I get a free pass? Why don't you pay for it? You know why? Because if you don't pay now, you'll have to pay with interest. Not a banker's interest, not a moneylender's interest, but divine interest. And that divine interest will kill. Believe me. So anything that you come across, pay more, doesn't matter. But don't ever want free things in life, because nothing in the world comes for free. The price is extracted either willingly, which you give, or unwillingly, and that is far more painful. The second category, rajasic person, he says, is one who cooks.